Imagine a tiger on the prowl, its muscles rippling beneath a sleek coat as it moves silently through the dense underbrush of a jungle. In the heart of its predatory instincts lies a subtle, almost mystical ability to sense not just the physical presence of its prey, but also the emotions that course through them. Can tigers truly sense the fear of their prey? This question delves deep into the realms of animal behavior, physiology, and the extraordinary interplay between predator and prey in the wild. In the natural world, survival often hinges on the ability to detect vulnerability. Tigers, like many apex predators, have evolved an array of sophisticated sensory tools that allow them to observe minute details in their environment. Their acute vision in low-light conditions, powerful sense of smell, and sensitive hearing all contribute to an unparalleled awareness of their surroundings. When stalking potential prey, a tiger doesn't rely solely on sight or sound. It also appears to have an uncanny ability to detect subtle physiological changes in the animals it hunts. For instance, the quickened pace of a heartbeat, the shift in body odor, or even the barely perceptible tremor in a breath. All these signs of fear may signal weakness. To a tiger, these cues might indicate that its target is vulnerable, making it an easier catch. Although scientific studies on emotional perception in wild predators are still emerging, anecdotal observations and behavioral research suggest that tigers, and many other predators, may be capable of reading the fear in their prey. Consider the scenario of a tiger stalking a herd of deer in the twilight hours. As the tiger moves stealthily through the underbrush, it picks up on the collective anxiety of the herd. The deer, sensing a predator, exhibit changes in behavior. They might start to move erratically. Their breathing becomes more rapid, and their eyes dart nervously to every shadow. These reactions, while natural for the prey, are rich with information. The tiger, attuned to the scent of adrenaline and the physiological markers of stress, can use these cues to identify which deer are more likely to panic and flee chaotically. In the chaos of a sudden stampede, the tiger could then select the most disoriented, vulnerable individual to target, a prey whose heart races and whose scent of fear has been amplified by stress. Such a strategy, combining acute sensory perception with a calculated instinct to exploit weakness, makes the tiger an incredibly efficient hunter. The idea that a tiger might read the fear of its prey is supported by what we know about the physiology of stress in mammals. When prey animals experience fear, their bodies release hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol, which prepare them for a fight or flight response. These hormones cause measurable changes in the body, faster heartbeats, increased respiration, and even altered body odors due to the secretion of pheromones. A tiger's sensitive olfactory system, capable of detecting minute chemical signals in the air, could pick up on these changes. Even if a predator cannot directly measure the heart rate of its prey, it can detect the molecular byproducts of fear. Thus, the tiger's nose becomes an instrument of psychological warfare, guiding its decisions in the hunt by pinpointing those individuals most likely to succumb to panic. Beyond chemical cues, a tiger's visual and auditory senses also play crucial roles in detecting fear. The way a prey animal moves, its gait, its erratic, jittery motions when frightened, can signal to a tiger that the animal is no longer in a state of calm alertness. A slow, deliberate movement is typically a sign of a healthy, confident animal, while a skittish, unpredictable pattern may indicate vulnerability. In the silence of a dense jungle, even the rustle of leaves or the softest heartbeat might betray a prey's inner turmoil. The tiger's ability to process these cues in real time allows it to make split-second decisions, selecting a target based on a combination of physical presence and emotional state. Furthermore, the psychological interplay between predator and prey is a dynamic dance that has evolved over millennia. Prey animals, for their part, have developed various strategies to minimize the risk of predation. Some rely on the many eyes principle, forming herds that can detect and collectively respond to threats, while others rely on camouflage and stealth. However, no matter how adept they become at avoiding detection, the very act of being alert to a predator's presence often triggers the physiological responses associated with fear. In this way, even the most cautious deer or antelope carries within it the biochemical markers of vulnerability, making it a potential target for a predator as discerning as the tiger. In certain regions where tigers have roamed the wild, researchers and wildlife enthusiasts have documented extraordinary accounts of these cats exhibiting behaviors that suggest an advanced sensitivity to the emotional states of other animals. In some cases, tigers have been observed pausing before making their final approach, as if they're listening for signs of distress from a potential target. While such observations are challenging to quantify scientifically, they add a layer of mystique to our understanding of big cat behavior. They suggest that the tiger's intelligence extends beyond simple survival tactics and encompasses a complex awareness of the emotional and physiological states of other creatures. This ability, whether born of evolutionary adaptation or an extraordinary byproduct of its sensory capabilities, reinforces the idea that the tiger is not only a physical predator but also a psychological one, capable of exploiting not just the body, but also the mind of its prey. The concept of a tiger reading fear also raises fascinating questions about the evolution of predator-prey dynamics. Over countless generations, predators and prey have been locked in a continuous cycle of adaptation. As prey animals develop more effective mechanisms for detecting and evading predators, the predators, in turn, must evolve more refined techniques for overcoming these defenses. The tiger's ability to detect subtle signs of fear in its prey could be seen as one such evolutionary innovation, a trait that gives it an edge in an environment where even the slightest hesitation or vulnerability can be the difference between a successful hunt and an empty stomach. In this light, the tiger's sensory acuity and its capacity to read fear are not mere accidents of evolution, but essential adaptations that have enabled it to maintain its status as an apex predator in diverse and challenging habitats. However, it is important to recognize that the tiger's ability to sense fear is not infallible. Just as a predator can exploit the vulnerability of its prey, prey animals have also evolved countermeasures designed to mask the biochemical and behavioral signs of fear. Some species have developed the ability to remain unnervingly still, minimizing movement and chemical emissions that might signal weakness. Others have evolved social behaviors that help to disperse the individual signs of stress, making it harder for a solitary predator to pinpoint a single target. The intricate balance between these opposing forces is at the heart of the predator-prey arms race, a relentless cycle of adaptation where each side continually refines its strategies in response to the other. For the tiger, this means that its success in detecting fear is not guaranteed, but is instead a variable factor that can be influenced by the clever adaptations of its prey. Moreover, the psychological impact of a tiger's hunting technique goes beyond the immediate capture of prey. In the grand tapestry of the ecosystem, a predator that can read fear not only secures its next meal but also shapes the behavior of the entire prey population. Over time, the persistent threat of predation can lead to changes in the social and behavioral patterns of prey species, encouraging them to develop heightened vigilance and more sophisticated means of camouflage or group cohesion. This dynamic, in turn, reinforces the evolutionary pressure on the tiger to continue refining its sensory capabilities and hunting strategies. It becomes a cycle, a complex interplay of adaptation and counter-adaptation, that drives the continuous evolution of both predator and prey. The tiger's ability to sense fear is both a cause and an effect of this intricate dance of survival, a testament to the ever-changing nature of life in the wild. The narrative of a tiger that can sense fear also resonates on a symbolic level, capturing the imagination of those who study animal behavior and the mysteries of the natural world. In many cultures, the tiger is revered not only for its physical beauty and power but also for its enigmatic presence, a creature that seems to embody both the visible and the hidden aspects of nature. The idea that a tiger might be able to perceive the inner emotions of its prey adds a layer of mysticism to its already formidable reputation. It suggests that the tiger is not just a hunter in the physical sense, but also a seeker of secrets, an animal whose instincts allow it to tap into the unseen, emotional world of the jungle. This perspective, whether scientifically validated or viewed as poetic metaphor, enriches our understanding of the tiger and invites us to consider the deeper connections between all living creatures. In conclusion, the question of whether tigers can sense the fear of their prey is a fascinating exploration of the intersection between physiology, psychology, and evolutionary biology. The tiger's remarkable sensory systems, its keen sense of smell, acute hearing, and exceptional vision, combined to create a predator that is not only physically dominant but also finely tuned to the emotional cues that signal vulnerability. Every pounce and every calculated approach is informed by an instinctive awareness of the subtle changes that occur when prey is gripped by fear. This ability, whether viewed as a natural adaptation or a deeper, almost mystical quality, underscores the tiger's status as one of nature's most efficient and fearsome hunters. Yet, like all adaptations in the animal kingdom, this sensory prowess is part of a continuous cycle of evolution, a dynamic process where predator and prey are locked in a constant struggle for survival. As prey species develop better methods to conceal their fear and minimize the signals of stress, the tiger, in turn, must refine its techniques to detect even the faintest whispers of vulnerability. This ongoing interplay of adaptation and counter-adaptation is the driving force behind the intricate balance of the ecosystem. A balance in which every heart-pounding chase, every silent moment of anticipation, and every successful hunt contributes to the grand narrative of life. Ultimately, the incredible capacity of tigers to detect fear is a testament to the sophisticated, evolved nature of these magnificent creatures. It is a reminder that beneath their fierce exterior lies an intricate network of sensory and cognitive abilities, tools honed by countless generations of natural selection to ensure that every hunt is a carefully orchestrated performance of skill, strategy, and raw power. As we marvel at the tiger's prowess, we are invited to reflect on the profound beauty of nature's design, where every heartbeat, every whispered scent, and every subtle movement holds the key to survival in a world defined by both chaos and order.